Well, it says I'm live. There's nobody here, but that's okay. I'm just going to chat a little bit about something that's been on my mind. And let me bring my microphone over here just a little bit closer to me so I'm speaking clearly into the microphone. Am I using the right microphone, I wonder? I guess I'm using the only microphone that they give me to use here. I don't know which one it is. It's either this one here. No, it's not that one, is it? It's the one in the Mac here, which isn't all that good. So, thanks, Troy. One of the things that I was talking with a photographer this morning, going through her work with her, and she made the comment that she thought her work, she didn't want to do the super polished commercial photography. She felt that her work was more art oriented or natural oriented, and would that be a problem? To which I replied, no, not going to be a problem at all. Yes, there are a lot of tutorials on the internet where photographers show you how to shoot a beer shot and 50 exposures all stacked up in Photoshop, and all that's really great. And if you're shooting for Anheuser-Busch, you got to know how to do that. I mean, takes time, it takes skill, it takes a lot of practice. But a big percentage of us are never going to shoot for Anheuser-Busch. We're local, we're regional. We're going to shoot for restaurants. We're going to shoot for spas. We're going to shoot for direct companies. We're not going to have the luxury of shooting for the biggest clients in the world. Not at first, anyway. You know, you don't go from, hey, I got a full frame camera to, hey, I'm shooting for Anheuser-Busch. There's a bit of distance there. So if you're shooting for Anheuser-Busch, you're going to do all these amazing things to it. I mean, you know, every bubble in the head of beer is probably inspected and fixed and repaired. That's how that kind of photography goes. If you're shooting 6 shots for a local restaurant for their menu, you're not going to do that. I mean, you're just flat not going to do it because, A, they're paying you to do the job that you bid. They're not paying you to do a job you did not bid. And you can't do those kinds of jobs and make any money at it. It's just impossible. So you do the job for the local company. Maybe it's a $1,200 or $1,500 job. Maybe it's a $2,000 job. Hell, it could be a $3,500 job. That still doesn't cover 6 days in Photoshop. Or as I would do it, of course, hire a Photoshop expert to do it for me because I don't have the time to sit and do all that stuff. And I would rather have somebody who lives to do it for me. So we have to understand it's, while there's some great shots done with, 50 exposures and 20 hours of Photoshop, I might be exaggerating, but you know what I'm talking about. There's also a lot of folks making great photographs with, a shiny card, strobe, scrim, flash, window light. A lot of people. And this young photographer wants to do that kind of natural stuff. Will that hurt her? Yeah, if she wants to jump immediately into the big ad agency work, sure. But she's not going to do that. She's going to go to magazines first, graphic design studios, and small companies, mom and pop owned companies. That's where you start out in this business. Before you shoot for the Radisson or Hilton, you might want to shoot some bed and breakfast for the folks in town. See if you can do it. See if you can do it well. See if you can do it within a time frame that makes money where you can make the kind of money that you want to make. If you go, well, shooting, how hard is it to shoot a bed and breakfast? I mean, I can shoot it. And if I don't get it right, I'll go back and shoot it again. If I don't get it right, I'll go back and shoot it again. Well, that's great, but you can't do that for Hilton. Nah, that ain't going to work. You're going to have to get in and get it right the first time. So you might practice a little bit, getting paid for it on the smaller end jobs. And that brings me to why I think you should be doing self-assignments whenever you're not shooting. Whenever you're either shooting or you're preparing to shoot, or you're doing post on a shoot, or you're marketing. If you can tell me who won American Idol, you got too much time on your hands, and you should be spending that time either marketing or selling. I was at Michael's Art Supplies yesterday, picking up some fake ice, which you can actually see it right over there. A little fake ice, and well, that's great. Troy's doing his eggs tonight. Fantastic. Do it spectacularly. At Michael's, there's a couple of little book racks as a checking out, right? The checkout line goes by. And I'm looking at this rack, and it's just full of food magazines. Many of which I didn't even know existed. I mean, literally full of food magazines. There must have been 24 on the top, 24 in the middle row. That's darn near 50 food magazines, or related somehow with food. Food and garden, and food and booze and all that kind of stuff. But still, that's so many possibilities. It's really amazing. And so, if I would say to you, food shooters, have you contacted those magazines? You know what the answer is most of the time, right? No, I haven't. I've been too busy on Facebook telling everybody how sucky this business is. I don't mean to be hard on you. I'm sorry. I just see a lot of that, and I here locally, I see so much of it. Photographers saying, "Oh, the business is just terrible. It's so awful." What's your marketing plan? I don't do much marketing. Well, yeah, no shit. The business is bad. Yeah. When you go out and make the business bad, the business is bad to you. However, people who are out marketing and doing things, their business is good. But they're not censoring themselves to what companies they should go to. There's a difference between censoring your work, you censoring it, not the government or whatever, but you censoring it. There's a real big difference between you doing it and the client doing it. The client can filter. You should do research to make sure that you're showing the client the right stuff. In other words, if you're a food shooter, you want to shoot food, you want to talk to food clients. If you're talking to, if you're spending your time talking to, some client that's aftermarket car parts, and you're a food shooter, well, you're wasting their time and you're wasting your time. So you've got to do some research, and you've got to do a little filtering on your own, and then go and show your work. Don't show, well, I have to put all my work, I have to do flash photography so that I can show that I can use flash. No, if you're a natural light food shooter, show what you do. Just show your authentic work, that real work that you create for yourselves. And that's the work that will get through because you're so passionate about it. You are so alive about doing that kind of work. It's not a matter of being able to do everything. It's a matter of being able to do what you do really well. And when we start to censor our work and start to say, oh, well, I got to make sure I'm doing this, and I got to make sure I'm doing that, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to be so focused on what you think they want you to do that you're not going to do what you want to do, which is exactly what they want you to do. Did you follow that? I'm not going to say it again. Hit pause and go back, but it's true. We think they want us to do this when what they want us to do is what we want to do because we're good at it. And you won't get every job. If you're showing your work to a client who, for instance, does all strobe food photography for whatever reason, they like the look of strobe food photography, and you're a natural light food photographer, they may not hire you. They might not hire you anyway. That's a process that I think photographers get wrong when they're new to this business. They go and see somebody and they don't get a job, and immediately they think, oh, they didn't like me. Well, maybe, but chances are far greater that they did like you and they didn't have a job for you right then. Ad agencies aren't going, wow, that's a good portfolio. Let's get a job for this guy. Let's bring out a job. We got a job. This gal's worked so great, we're going to give her a job. No, they may not have a job that week. They may not have a job that month where they have to hire a photographer. There's a whole lot of other things that ad agencies are doing. They're hiring directors, they're hiring video, they're hiring illustrators, they're hiring writers. Things are in pre-production, things are in post-production, things are, being sent out, lots of things that go on. They're not shooting ads every day. And so they don't need you every day. And so you go in there and then you censor yourself. Well, they didn't like me, so I won't go back. Terrible, really terrible thing to do. If they don't like you, they'll say something like, we don't like you. Don't ever come back. We're going to get a restraining order against your portfolio. Come back and you'll hear from our attorneys. That way you know that they don't want you back. But until they get there, you just keep coming back, folks. It's just that simple. Just keep coming back. And it doesn't matter if you're a photographer, a graphic designer, model, illustrator, writer, until they tell you that, you come back one more time and they'll kill you. Then what you do is obvious. You come back one more time, see if they're serious. Persistence is highly underrated in this business. It is a numbers business. So when we start to censor our work and censor our potential client list and censor who we want to work with and censor everything else, it's not research, it's fear, and fear is resistance. We're just looking for a way not to go do it. Well, I showed them my book. And I didn't hear back from them. Oh, really? When did you show them your book? 4 years ago. Okay, well, I would say they don't even remember you. They may not remember you from 4 months ago. In Seattle, I was working with a photographer who had taken his book to an agency, and it was one of those reviews where they didn't say a lot, which really sort of said a lot. And he showed me the portfolio that he had taken to see the agency, and I knew exactly what was going through their heads. He had some photographs that were inappropriate for an ad agency. They may have been appropriate for a modeling agency or something like that, but they were certainly not appropriate for a suit, wearing ad agency. So I rearranged the book and took a bunch of stuff out, put a bunch of his other stuff in. He goes to the agency and they're, oh, this is really cool. So he even got a job later from that agency, a couple weeks or months later, got a job from him, everything. But he wouldn't have got the job with that portfolio because it wasn't researched. That's not censoring. That's research. Censoring is saying, oh, I already saw them and they didn't like my work, so I'm not going to go see them again. Hey, Jeff, that's not research. That's just fear. And that's just letting your emotions run it. So you got to be real careful. Self-censorship is a terrible, terrible thing to do. We also censor our clients as far as pricing. We censor our pricing for our clients. I talk to young photographers a lot, and I'll hear, well, I was gonna ask, for $1,000, but I don't know if they can afford it. Well, this isn't the I don't know if they can afford it game on TV. This is how much do you charge? Charge what you want to charge. Don't worry about leaving money on the table. That's just foolish to worry about that. Foolish. If you're happy, you should stay happy. Look, the phone rings. Isn't that great? Phone rings right when I'm chatting. Hasn't rang all day. Texted like crazy, but hasn't rang. You don't censor your work, you don't censor your pricing. This is your pricing. If you want to charge $1,000 and that will make you happy, and that is the fee that you think you need to do that shot, then you charge $1,000. And they will say, gosh, that's fine. Or they will say, gosh, that's out of our price range. To which you respond, okay, because it's out of their price range. I'd love to have a brand new Harley Davidson, but every time I go to Harley Davidson, tell them I can only spend $3,000, they tell me they don't have any motorcycles in my price range. I have yet to have one of the dealer guys go, hey, okay, let's cut this. We'll give you one for $3,000 because, it's slow and, I got to make my numbers. Not going to happen. So why do we do it? Why do we censor ourselves from the money that we are charging? If you only think it's worth $500, then charge $500. If you think it's worth $2,000, then charge $2,000. If it's worth $2,000 to you and you find out later that they might have paid $3,500, who cares? You made what you thought it was worth, $2,000. Can't beat that. Key is you didn't do it for $500. You didn't censor your thinking based on what you expected from them or what you suspect they would be willing to pay. It's really, really tricky, and it's really, really simple. You create your own work, your authentic, your personal, your style, your gut photographs. And if people like them and want to use them, they will. They'll pay you to do those photographs. The key is it's your job to get those photographs in front of them so that they can make that choice. Another way we self-censor our work is that we don't show it to anybody. I can't tell you how many photographers I know who don't show their work to anybody. It's like pulling teeth to get them to get out and show their work to possible clients. That's it. Troy says, I've always told my non-photography clients, just pay me what you feel my work was worth. If that works for you, cool. I probably take the other tack. I would want to be paid what I think it's worth. But if it's working for you, great. I always balk at letting my client call too many of the shots. I don't shoot without an assistant these days. I just don't do it. And they pay for it. And if they don't pay for it, to hell with them. It's one of the nice things about being a geezer. When you're a geezer, you can just say, screw you, ain't doing it. Because it doesn't mean that much to me to do it. If it's a $30,000 job, yeah, I ain't work with that. Troy says most of the time he gets hosed. Yeah. You know why that is, Troy? They're lying to you. They're not paying you what they think it was worth. They're paying you what they want to pay you so they can keep the rest because they know your work is worth a lot. Have you ever had anybody get a shot from you and piss and moan about how much it cost? And then, you kind of go, well, oh, okay. I thought it was a good shot, but I'll wipe out the $1,200 bill and you can pay me the $300 you think it was worth. And then that image appears in an ad in 6 regional magazines. Do you know what an ad costs in a regional magazine? Here in Phoenix, between probably $6,000 and $12,000 per insert. So that shot wasn't very good. You didn't want to pay $1,200 for it. I got that. But you thought it was good enough to spend $8,000 to stick it in a magazine 6 times 8. You spent $50,000 on putting that photograph that wasn't very good in the magazine. Does that make any sense in any universe on the planet? If it wasn't that good, you'd have somebody reshoot it. You wouldn't just do it. And that's why I don't fall for the it's not good enough argument. I've had that played on me before, and it's not a very good feeling. I know it's good. It's not hard to know your work is good. Well, Troy, I don't know, $3,000. That actually sounds low to me. So maybe it sounds low to them, and you don't know. Who knows? I get more than that for websites. I haven't built any in quite a while, but been so focused on other things. It's so hot here in Phoenix. Oh, it's so hot. I have a client that wants to pay $100 for 25 photos. No. Saying no is very difficult. You know what else it is? You know what else it is? It is when you fire a client or you say no, it does hurt, but it's also empowering as hell because you just realized you took advantage of you. You listened to your gut. You made a decision. When you fire a client, it's a hard thing to do. When you tell somebody no, it's a hard thing to do. Lots of photographers are people pleasers, and we don't want to say no. But unfortunately, other people know that, and they take advantage. They take way too much advantage. So Troy says his designer won't even touch the keyboard for under $5,000. Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right to me. I just put something on my motorcycle and I got super glue all over my hands. And I know now why they call it super glue. It doesn't come off. Anyway, the censorship thing across everything. Trying to shoot pictures that you think people want to see is censoring your own art, a bad move. Shooting pictures that that aren't yours, aren't your authentic work because you think you're supposed to, that's censoring your authentic work. Deciding your clients can't pay you what you're worth, that's censoring your work in a way. Deciding that you're not going to go and show somebody your pictures because, quote, they won't be able to afford me anyway, or, quote, I heard they don't pay anything, or, quote, they won't like my work. That's censorship. You're censoring yourself. Go. First of all, you may find out that they're happy as hell to pay you what you want. They weren't happy to pay your friend what your friend wanted because maybe your friend's work didn't trip their trigger. It's, it's a numbers game, it's a quality game, and it's a persistence game. Always getting after it. I would say this, I would guarantee you if you followed my mantra of 3 contacts a day, just 3 contacts a day, by the end of the month, you're going to be shocked at what has happened. Just 3 contacts a day. Maybe it's an email and a direct mail piece sent out and a phone call, or 2 emails and a phone call, or 2 direct mails and an email. Every day, 3 people, 3 people, 3 people, 3 people, just like that. You'll do more in 1 month than most photographers do in a year. You'll do more in 6 months than most photographers do, period. And if you just turn it into a system, that's what that's why I call Project 52 Pro system now, because I'm a big believer in systems over goals. My goal is to send out 3 pieces a day. Yeah, well, your goal, goals are like that thing over there. That's my goal. I can see it clearly. It's so awesome. It's really, reruns of Friends are on. Okay, I'll set that aside. I'm going to go watch the reruns of Friends. You make a decision and a process and a system means, okay, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. You've been busy all day. You're getting ready to go home. Fine. Do those 3 contacts and then go home because it's part of your system. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Maybe part of your system is making the bed every morning. Every morning, my wife leaves for work. I say, hey, I'll take care of this. She does laundry and stuff. I'll take care of this. I make the bed. I started out, I got that project done. I come sit down in here, I check my email, find out what's going on with Project 52, check the group, look at my schedule for creating content, and get to work on that. It's not rigid, it's a system. I might change the order around, but by the end of the day, those 5 or 6 things I have on my checkbook, they all get checked off because that's the system I have. It works. It really does. 3 a day. Be amazing. Well, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about that self-censorship thing, and you know, a little bit worried sometimes when people start to think that they know what other people want to see, because the big secret is you don't know what they want to see. You don't. I just saw a pharmaceutical ad with 2 70-year-olds on Harley Davidsons. Now, if you were out shooting two models on motorcycles for your book, would you, first thing you think, pharmaceuticals? Probably not. Probably not. You'd think, oh, motorcycle shops. Well, duh. But you wouldn't think pharmaceuticals. If you're going to see a pharmaceutical company, you might take those Harley shots out of your pocket, out of your book. And yet there's this pharmaceutical company using photographs of a man and woman, both on their Harleys, because their heart's strong or something. They got better blood, or God only knows what it is. Some kind of crap they're taking and making them Harley monsters. Now, if it was really, if he was like 104 and she's 100 and they're both out there on Sportsters rocking through the Midwest, that might be pretty cool. But they just use those. A soccer ball, a soccer ball, and a leg kicking the soccer ball for an insurance company. We censor and we think, well, I got a soccer ball. The only people want to see it are soccer people. No, you're so wrong. You don't know who wants to see it. If it's authentic, it's authentic. If you're showing your work to a lifestyle company, then yeah, they're going to want to see your lifestyle. If you try to censor it out. Now, if you're a food shooter, you might not want to go and show your work to, Caterpillar. Or maybe you would, right? Maybe you would. Maybe they go, wow, we've been looking for somebody to do our new menu in the cafeteria, and the only people that come see us are people who want to show us trucks. If you get the idea there's no right way to do it, you are absolutely hitting the nail on the head. No right way. Just do it every single day. All right, thanks for coming along. I didn't have a big group, but I don't care about big groups. I never have. I'm not trying to be the biggest guy on the internet. Never will be. It's not interesting to me. I just want to be here for the group of people who want me to be here. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming by, and have a great day.